All right, here we are again. Um, Baby names. It's something we've all pondered before, especially the people that actually have spouses. I'm not one of these people because one, I'm too young. Two, um, I also happen to be hideous, so women aren't very keen to the idea of me. So here we go. So if by some miracle I end up with a child, preferably a son, an offspring, if you will. These are the top 10 baby names that I would give. Also, if you're about to have a baby, use one of these. Oh. So here's what you need to notice when what I look for in a name. I want the child, I want this child to be named, have something to aspire to. I, like, if you name your child John, well, of course there are a lot of great, like, people who are named John, but like there's too many people named John. So he's gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna be like John the plumber or something like that. But if you name him something like Napoleon, he'll have a lot to aspire to because that's not, first of all, not a very common name, and second of all, I think when and also this doesn't apply to everyone because people named Richard suck, or most of them do, but Richard is a great, powerful name. But it's just that people who suck are usually named Richard, and I don't get it. But yeah, so that's what I want. I want them to aspire to be something. Because if you name your child Bob, have you ever heard? He's going to be Bob the Tomato, who's the only person, or like Bob the Custodian. Like seriously, like or Bob the Builder. Like there's not a lot of good names for Bob. Like not a lot of people to aspire to that are named Bob. But sorry throwing shade at anyone named Bob, but your name's Bob, so you probably suck. And I have this problem. I'm named after the dumbest prophet in the Bible, Isaac. Or not, he wasn't even a prophet, he was a patriarch, but he was an idiot because he was like, "Hey, this is my son. Hey, you know this guy that doesn't feel like my son or sound like my son or make food like my son or smell like my son? That's probably my son." So yeah, I was named after an idiot, but yeah. So honorable mentions. Also, feel free to use these. Alexander, Leonidas, and Matthias. Another thing I forgot to mention, I do not want to be able to shorten their names. There are some names that can be shortened on the top 10, but these names are super. You can shorten these names like really easily. Like Alex is for Alexander, Leo for Leonidas. Also, if you're named Leo, you suck. And then Matt for Matthias. Like these are great names. It's just that you can shorten them too easily. And then instead of being Leonidas the warrior, you're Leo the lion, but or not Leo the lion, or like Leo that stripper or something. But yeah, 10. Nicodemus. Nicodemus is a great name, a great strong Jewish name. Who doesn't love a great strong Jewish name every now and then, am I right? But the problem is, the reason it's at 10 is because you can shorten it to Nick. And I love Nick. I love people named Nick. I don't think I've met a bad person named Nick. And Nick, I like Nick better than I like Alex, Leo, or Matt. So, yeah. Number 9, Hannibal. So there's two ways you can go with this. Either I'm naming him after the serial killer Hannibal from that book that I can't remember the name of, or I'm naming him after Hannibal Barca. I'm naming him after Hannibal Barca. I'm not naming him after the serial killer because what kind of person names their child after a serial killer? Yeah. Hannibal Barca, one of the greatest generals of all time. This child would have to be like a president or something if I named him Hannibal. All right. Number 8, Joffer. This is more of a joke name because my mom says that I act like Uncle Joffer, which I guess is an insult, but it's funny. So, number 7, Octavius. A Roman name. A name that can't be shortened. I love this. I love giving my what are you going to call him? Oct? You're going to call him Oct? You're going to call him Octa? No, you're going to call him Octavius because that's his name. Methuselah. Number 6 is Methuselah. Are you going to call my child Meth? Because that's not a good name. That's not a good nickname. Meth. Imagine, hey Meth, come down here. Come help me with the groceries. No. Methuselah, come down here with the groceries. I get it. It's an old man name, but it's a beautiful old man name. It's a beautiful Jewish name. You know, Methuselah lived to be 979 years old, according to the Bible. So it's a great name. It's also fun to say. And also there's a character, one of my favorite characters in a book, the Redwall series. I didn't like the books that much, but one of my favorite characters was an old mouse named Methuselah, and I loved him. So there we go. Number 5, Xanthippus. The general that almost got the Carthaginians to win the First Punic War, and nicknamed the Spartan. Woo! You can't shorten Xanthippus. It's a beautiful name, a beautiful Greek name. Number 4, Scipio Africanus. Now, what are you gonna, Scipio, I get it, it's a short name, and people might make fun of you, but you're named after Scipio Africanus, the guy that defeated Hannibal. Like, awesome. I love Scipio Africanus. He's one of my favorite historical figures. Number 3, Theoden. Listen, it's a beautiful name, beautiful name from J.R.R. Tolkien's book, The Lord of the Rings. I love, Theoden's my favorite character from Lord of the Rings. I love Theoden. You can shorten it to Theo, and that's probably why it's number 3. Okay, number 2, Marcus Attilius Regulus. Imagine, my last name is Drown. Imagine if I walk out there and I'm mad at my son and I yell, Marcus Attilius Regulus Drown! Or I just say Marcus Attilius Regulus because it's cool. I love Marcus Attilius Regulus, a great guy. Basically the arbiter for honesty. Now I know you can shorten it to Mark, and that's why it's number 2 and not number 1. Number 1. One of my favorite historical figures of all time. Constantine Palaiologos. I definitely butchered the pronunciation of the second one. I had a good friend named Constantine growing up. And Constantine is a strong name. You're naming him after the last Roman emperor. Awesome guy. That is the top 10 names I would name my son, my firstborn. Now, as a firstborn son myself, my parents named me Isaac. Isaac sucks as a name. I hate it. But I'm stuck with it. At least until I turn 18, and I'm already used to being called Isaac. Everyone knows me as Isaac. So if I changed my name from Isaac to something like Hannibal, first of all, I probably look more like Hannibal than like the general than the guy that they actually casted to be Hannibal the general, because Hannibal was, cry about it, he was Middle Eastern, he was not, or North African, he was not South African. But I love history so much. I would not refrain from giving every child I have a historical name, but also I gotta realize the reason there's 13 names on this list is because when it comes to naming a child, you're probably going to have to go through your wife or run it past your wife what name you would want to give them. And I don't think any woman in their right mind would let their husband name their child Xanthippus. So, yeah, but this is just a fun list. I had fun making this, and bye.